Well, here today in an interview with Capital Times, you stated that cameras can't replace the boots on the ground law enforcement, and that you work to explain your efforts to keep us safe. You know, Benjamin Franklin once said that those who would trade liberty for temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. How do you feel about this statement with regard to the role of law enforcement?
As I've always said, that there's a perishable trust. Anything that we decide to do, especially if it's public, we were brought into this, not necessarily with all of our input, and by elected leaders. And the reason why a lot of local police chiefs who have told me privately that, hey, Paul, or hey, Sheriff, I'm with you, but I work for the assistant manager or the city manager or the mayor and council, and they do see this as a revenue stream. And when you have all these pressures and competing interests and budgets, and hey, we may cut you by $200,000, and you're not the top elected person, they're kind of limited in terms of what they can say. Is it a compromise? I do believe that it is. And that's why I'm speaking out, not only in my county, across the state, and saying, look, this is wrong. And it does hurt the good reputation and the perishable trust that I hold with you and every other citizen and anybody who wears a badge.
So you are saying that it is worthwhile to trade a little liberty for safety?
I'm saying no. I absolutely not. I believe that we compromise our liberty when we make this whole swap here. The argument that I didn't mean to the question you asked, and then you heard.
I know it was you probably weren't expecting it.
No, that's fine. It's the explanation of it, and then I think I didn't fully answer those parts of it, and then I clarified it further for you.
I appreciate it. Do you support the use of forced blood draws under the suspicion of DUI?
I do not by itself, but what has to happen is you actually have to have a judicial order. So under the same rules of evidence and the same rules of as an officer not only placing somebody under arrest, that doesn't give you the authority by force to take blood or to draw blood. And this is where an actual judge has to issue a warrant. So this is the same rules as entry, the Fourth Amendment rights that people are protected from reasonable search and seizure. The same rules would apply. So if the judge is here, I have to articulate under not only probable cause all the reasons why I'm asking for that search warrant.
Well, the Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution in Article 2, Section 10 of the Arizona State Constitution states that no person shall be compelled in any criminal case to give evidence against himself. Do you think that these forced blood draws are in direct contradiction to this?
That actually, a license to drive on our roads is actually a privilege because they're issued. So if you're going to drive on the roads and you have driving privileges, and I'm fine with the fact and support the fact that not only an officer, if we have to go to the point where we actually have to force evidence and it's not given freely, then we go to a separate branch of the government to get that authority. And that I believe is absolutely fine.
Well, what do you see as the bottom line regarding the rights of the individual against the state? Wouldn't it be at the very least the skin itself? I mean, what constitutional authority gives the state the right to do this?
It is invasive, and this is where, as in my county as well, we can do either, and the law actually states that you can use any means, whether it's blood or if it's urine or if it's breath, and a lot of agencies still use, and we do use breath, the Intoxilizer 8000, so it's less invasive. You're still gathering evidence, yet it's not a blood draw. So that's where a lot of people, understandably have concern about drawing blood. And I can tell you that that's why it's important that a warrant is obtained, and not just by themselves, the law enforcement. And that's a safeguard in the law to protect against that.
More questions, sir. Has your office accepted any federal stimulus funds or participated in the sharing of information with any of the Arizona Fusion Centers?
We are not a part of the Fusion Center in the East Valley. We do not have a resource that's there. We have actually applied for the federal COPS grant because we have one deputy per thousand.
Follow up. Since the county sheriff is, according to the Constitution, the highest law enforcement official in any county, do you think that accepting federal funds diminishes the office and creates an inherent conflict of interest?
Not with me.
No? Okay. Well, thank you very much.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thanks.